Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to another installment of the Torch Parsha Minute. And this time, my friends on Facebook, we're coming to you live from the Torch Center, where we have every Friday afternoon at 12 p.m. a Talmud Lunch and Learn. We're sitting around here with all of our friends, about to begin the study into the tractate of Berachot. In this week's Parsha, we have an amazing thing. In this week's Parsha, Parsha's Vayikra, the book, we're starting Leviticus, the first portion in Leviticus. So, chapter 4, verse number 27 says the following: If one person of the people of the land commits a sin unintentionally by transgressing one of the commandments of Hashem, that may not be done, and he incurs guilt. And then the verse continues to tell us about the offering that he needs to bring, which is called the sin offering. So the entire concept of a sin offering is that one. It's difficult to understand what exactly happened here. Someone had an unintentional sin. An unintentional sin. He didn't mean it, right? And he made a mistake. So why does he have to bring a whole offering? And an offering, as we remember, we've said numerous times, wasn't a simple thing. You don't just bring, a cow as an offering. You're talking about a hefty expense. It's a big thing for someone to have to go and bring an offering for a sin that was unintentional to begin with. So what are you making a big deal? He says, "I'm sorry, and goodbye." So there's an unbelievable story that is told about Rabbi Salanter. Rabbi Salanter, we know, is the founder of the Musar movement. And he was once traveling. He was traveling from city to city. And he gets, along his travels, he ran out of money. So he asked someone if he can take a loan, a small loan. The person didn't know who Rabbi Salanter was. And he says to him, "Well, I don't know that you're going to pay me back, so I want collateral." So he gives him something. It was a very small nominal amount. Okay, a day or two later, that same person who loaned him the money was holding a chicken in his hand, and he needed someone to slaughter the chicken for him. So he runs over to Rabbi Salanter, who obviously looked like a rabbi. He says, "Can you slaughter my chicken for me? Because it needs to be slaughtered properly according to halacha." So the rabbi seized the opportunity to educate this person with something. He says, "When it came to money, you didn't trust me. But when it comes to doing the ritual slaughtering, then you trust me. Is there perhaps something wrong with the values?" Right? And this is really the insight into understanding an unintentional sin. An unintentional sin, one second, there are some sins we know, that I would never do. But what happened to that sin? Why weren't you as cautious about this sin as you are about other sins? Well, this one didn't mean as much, or this one meant too much. What we need to learn, and this is one of the things we learned from this week's Parsha, is that every mitzvah has value. And it's up to us how much value we put to it. And we need to put as much value as possible on every single mitzvah, because we don't know the reward for one mitzvah over another mitzvah. The Mishnah tells us that you have to treat every mitzvah as if it is the most valuable mitzvah. Why? Because you don't know which one is worth more than the other. Maybe visiting a sick person is worth much more than a different mitzvah that you hold very, very close to your heart. That means we are sometimes putting certain priorities ahead of other priorities based on our own wishes, on what we want, but not necessarily on what is of higher importance and higher value. So I think the important lesson that we need to learn and walk away from this week's Parsha is that every single mitzvah is precious. Every single mitzvah. We can't say, well, this mitzvah is important to me, so I'll do this. But this mitzvah is not important to me, so I'm not going to do that. Right? It's the equivalent of this loan officer, let's call him, who, when it comes to money, he doesn't trust. But when it comes to Judaism and ritual slaughter, right, then he does trust. Something's wrong there. Something doesn't smell right. Maybe he puts too much value to money and doesn't put enough value on his Judaism. Or perhaps he's correct with the Judaism amount of trust, and he's incorrect with the money because it's off balance. So Hashem should bless us all that we should have proper value to every single mitzvah. We should place that proper value. And, just as a side note, it's coming to my attention now. But, sometimes you talk to people, I hear people talking about kosher, for example. Right? So kosher, for whatever reason, people have a certain type of, it's not that bad. Right? It's not that bad. Right? So it's also chicken, but it's not like I'm eating treif. It's not like I'm eating pork. It's just not kosher chicken. Right? It wasn't slaughtered properly. It doesn't make it evil. Well, that's an assumption that someone's making. But perhaps our job is to investigate. Maybe it is as bad. Right? And that's what I'd like to inspire from this halacha, this Parsha minute, is perhaps our perspective on mitzvahs is a little bit skewed to the things that we would like, to the values we'd like them to be versus what they really are. So with that, my friends, have a wonderful Shabbos. Thank you for joining us. And you're welcome to join us here live, in person, every single Friday afternoon at 12 o'clock at the Torch Center. We have delicious food that everyone is enjoying here, brought by our dear friend Ed Steiner. Thank you so much for bringing it and taking care of us. Have a magnificent Shabbos, and I look forward to sharing more Parsha minutes and Halacha minutes with all you, my friends, on Facebook and YouTube. You're welcome to like and share so that we can spread the word of Torah to the rest of the world. Have a great day.